This is the bike that got me started on my transformation. This is at the Handmade Bicycle Show at the Wideman Kennedy 1 year ago, and I wanted it. I guess that's what Wideman Kennedy does. It makes you want things. This is what I ended up with. I bought this. This is the first day I had it. This is up on Council Crest. I rode a little stop, rode a little stop, rode a little stop. I wasn't quite hip enough to own a bike like this, but I sure wasn't going to crash. So, what I want to talk about is that transformation, and I know that every transformation includes some physical transformation and some psychological transformation. I think 2 months for the physical, 2 years for the psychological. I started by working in very small increments. I wasn't feeling well, I had to get up over a hill, I wanted to commute to Portland. I worked in very small increments. I'd go to the next traffic light, turn around and come home. Each day I'd go one traffic light further. I got to like traffic lights. So then I'm riding on I got doing the commuting thing. Someone steals my car. And I'm thinking, I don't want to deal with a stolen car. But I think, hey, I'm just going to ride my bike. I could buy a bike a month for what that car cost. So I learned how to ride the bus. The buses are really nice, especially when there's ice on the roads. You know, I got to the point where, hey, there's a bus. What number is that? I wonder where it goes. You know, I'm learning all these bus numbers and I'm really liking that. And the technology is fantastic. I don't know how I could have done this. You know, it's got all the maps, it's got the bus schedule, it's got the camera that took all these pictures. You know, is that cool? So I also discovered I like the weather. You know, we got a lot of weather here and it's fun. You know, every day I go out, the weather's a little different. I enjoy being different every day. I even like it when it's cold. I get to see things I don't normally see instead of, you know, in the house, in the garage, whatever. But I can't tell you how much money I spent on gloves. You know, it is so hard to find gloves that work. Here's a tip. Get to know your local bike shop. Here's a local guy in Multnomah loading up my new bicycle service stand. This is a guy in Selwood fixing up my new bike. This is bike number 4. Bought it secondhand. You don't have to have a perfect bike if you're going to have a lot of them. That's my tip. Get a lot of bikes. Get a lot of bike routes. There's a lot of different ways to ride. Don't ride your bike where you'd ride a car. You know how to get around in a car. Learn how to get around on a bike. Get the bike map. Learn the routes. Try the train. This is me heading up to Seattle. I'm going up to Bellevue for a conference, 3-day conference. It all fits in those yellow bags. The train's very civilized way to travel. And they nick you a couple of bucks to put the bike in the baggage car, but you're not going to get your car in there. Speaking of cars, I want you to stay away from cars. For you drivers out there, I want you to know every time I have a close call, I remember that, and every time I go by the spot, I think about how I could have done it differently. Here's an example. This is heading out to downtown Portland. There's a row of traffic lights there. If I ride hard, I can make the greens going uphill, but if I catch a red, you know, there's just no way I'm going to get synced again. So if I'm bending the rules, it's for a purpose. So it turns out, 5 months later, my car comes back, and I get to find out what they did to it and what they didn't do to it. I think they were in a hurry, and I'm thinking, well, the last thing I want is a car. I mean, like, one thing is parking. You know, with a bicycle, you just ride up and you go park. But now I was good at parking, right? 4 inches on either side. But I just don't want to deal with it. Now, everywhere I go, there's one more spot for you. I've applied this simple technique, physical, then mental, to a number of things. Here I'm trying it on the yoga, and that turned out to be a little too hard for me. But maybe I'll get at that some other time. But it's working great on the food. I'm being real careful to not eat any of that high fructose corn syrup, and boy, it's amazing how good everything else tastes. You know, I'm not a vegetarian yet, but I'm on my way. So, how about all this stuff? You know, I've been collecting stuff for many years, and it piles up and piles. I've got to work on the physical in 2 months, and then I got to spend 2 years learning how not to collect all that. But I will say that my middle class wealth hasn't always been good to me, because frankly I've been carrying around a lot of baggage. And with my formula 2 months for the physical, 2 years for the mental, I will enjoy learning to be a different person.